So today I'm doing a shoot with the Hasselblad X1DII Mark II, the 65mm, which is my favorite lens in the world. I don't know why I love this lens as much as I do, but I absolutely love it. And I'm going to be using LEDs. I thought since I like the high ISOs so much on this camera, maybe I can get away with using LEDs and playing with the light a little bit, and just having a fun shoot to see what comes out. So the two ice lights I'm going to be using, yeah, they're old, but they work. I have a Neo 3 up on my pole behind the camera, and I'm just going to mix and match and see what I can come up with. And, you know, take a look at the photos and see if I'm comfortable with them in studio, because I would love to use LEDs more. But, you know, as I said in the past, you know, I'm so used to the lower ISOs and the high quality but with this camera, I'm really satisfied with the higher ISOs, so I got to give it a shot and see what we come up with. Anyway, enjoy.
Well, this will most likely be a long one. This is Joy. We haven't shot for, I'm guessing, close to 3 years. It was after COVID we lost touch and didn't shoot. And man, we used to shoot all the time. But anyway, she's always fun to shoot. Really easy to work with. I don't have to think about her as a model during the shoot. That's why, like, I thought this was perfect for her, because using these lights, you know, I had to concentrate on the lighting and what it looked like. And I do love the high ISO noise on the Hasselblad. It works with people. You know, it may be completely different for you. I think everybody has their own taste in noise, you know, and yeah, the optimum is no noise, but if you have to have noise, there it is. Okay, so there's the Neo 3. There's one of the ice lights. That's just a bare bulb ice light that's in front of her, more in front of her than behind her. And then I have one more ice light with the barn doors behind her. And I'm just going to move these lights throughout the whole shoot just to play, you know, because you can see exactly what you're getting, so it's nice. And these are not bright. You know, I was looking at, you know, a 600 watt second, and I'm thinking, you know, if I can get away with these small little lights to play when I want to play with LEDs, it'll be great. And, you know, when I got this camera back, I remember just how much I loved the higher ISOs on this thing. They just, I shouldn't say love, I would say they bother me the least out of all my cameras. You know, I know that the Sonys and the Nikons and the Canons, they do really well with high ISOs, but they just weren't my cup of tea on people. And it's, you know, it's a personal thing. It has nothing to do with the quality of it or anything like that. It's just that on this larger sensor, the noise, I don't know, it's more appealing to me personally. So that being said, you know, these ice lights are not bright lights, but I always loved them. You know, in a pinch, they were always fun to use. I did use them for commercial shoots, believe it or not. For products, they worked great, and I've used them on people before. So I figured, you know, these two ice lights and this Neo, you know, I'm just going to play and see what I get out of it. And right from the start, from the back of the camera, I was loving what I was getting. And, you know, having a model that knows to look towards the light or knows, is aware of where the light is a lot easier, because these are smaller light sources. You know, if you have a big umbrella, it really doesn't matter. But these are very small light sources compared to a big umbrella. So your model has to be aware of where the lights are, where they're coming from, where the shadow's going to be cast. And Joy is very aware of this stuff, so it's much easier with her than it would be other models. But she did a great job, and the lights they look great. That's why I'm zooming in, so you can actually see the noise in this thing. That's really not bad. And I've fluctuated in between ISO 1600 and 3200, which, you know, I would never in a million years do. Now, this is very, very cool, because I didn't even think about this before. But the X-Drop Pro, I'm using the 5x7 backdrops. I can hang one right on top of the other rather than taking the whole thing down and putting the next one up, I just hung the one right on top of the yellow, the green on top of the yellow, and it worked. So I was thrilled to death that I didn't have to take one down and put another one up. Now, obviously, if I'm using the 8x8s, it's going to be a different story. I'd still have to, drop down the poles because I wouldn't be able to reach it at 8 foot. But the rest of it's, and I would like the 8x8s in these colors. Now that I've tried them, I really like the look of them. So, I got to give props to Westcott. And I think that the Ice Lights are Westcott too. So, the only thing that's not Westcott here is the Neo 3 that I'm using. And if I had a third Ice Light, I probably could have got away with that. But I don't like the Neos, but I got to give them props because they are pretty bright. So, I just hate the flash on them. I just think it's stupid. I thought the marketing was ridiculous. And for the price, yeah, you can get something very, very comparable that'll do the same job, because these things are outrageously expensive. And I think it's because of their technology for the flash, which, to me doesn't work at all. It's the same as the output, the constant output. It's just ridiculous for the marketing campaign with that. Anyway, moving these lights and adjusting them each time, you're going to get mistakes. You're going to get bad spots, and you could just move them and see what you can get in the back of your camera. If you're tethered, you can see it untethered. Like here, she has nice light on either side of her head. It's not too bright. It looks great. But when I move lights around and, play, I'm going to hit a bad spot. Now, I'm going down to the 2 ice lights and nothing else. And I love the barn doors. I wish I had another set of barn doors, but they're so outrageously expensive. I never bought the second set. But this light I loved, except for the left side of her head. When you see the photo, you're going to see that her hair goes dead. And compared to the right side, that bothered me. So, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn that ice light. The nice part about these tube lights, whether it's an ice light or whatever you have, is that you can get a wraparound light. Even with the barn doors, I'm going to get a wraparound light, and I'm going to get some light touching on that left side. It's going to make the hair pop a little bit, and it'll bring out the photo a lot more, which I'll show you in this photo, because it really is night and day. When you saw the last one, it's like, okay, yeah, it's nice, but that dead hair on that side, that just dull hair, just doesn't work, especially with her red hair. It's, it's a signature piece in her photos, and if it's not popping correctly on each side, it's just going to look dead. But you can see just that little touch of light hitting that left side makes the hair pop, and it's twice the image as the other one, just by turning that ice light. And that's my wide, easy to use. It's not an umbrella, but I still can get some wide light out of it. And with the barn doors, you can get some, unique looks and play with it quite a bit. So, for me, this shoot was a success, and I just wouldn't say that with another. I wouldn't even say that with the Leica, because there's nothing like a medium format noise compared to like a full frame or especially a crop sensor. It's just it's a different texture, if you will. I don't know, and I love it. And man, that's hard for me to say, but I really do like the look. So, when I shoot clean images with strobe, don't get me wrong, they're my favorite. But being able to get away with this with 3 of these little lights, I think it's fantastic. And the other thing is I didn't change a bulb or a battery in any of these through this whole shoot. And it was a decently long shoot. I think we did 3 or 4 different outfits, and it worked. Okay, so somebody asked me about that sweep on the X-Drop Pro, and this is the white sweep. I did get that in, and I do like it. It's not perfect because they're going to have to be close to the backdrop if they're standing on it, because it doesn't go out that far. But in a pinch, I think it would work just fine. And it worked for this one, but I didn't shoot any full length, which I probably should have. That was joy going in my fridge looking for anything alcoholic. Anyway, all my bottles are empty in there. Not that I drink at work. Anyway, this sweep, it works nice. It's a decent size out. and I'm sure you can use it just fine with with a large umbrella. With these lights with the LEDs, it wouldn't work as well as I would want it to, because you can see the shadow that's being cast in the back of it on her right. So if I'm going to go a little bit wider, I'm going to pick up that shadow. With an umbrella, it would work. And you can't use LEDs and umbrellas as much as they would like you to believe you could. The Neos I'm talking about, I'm sure the 600 watt 600 watt LEDs would work fantastic in umbrella. But I think it would blind the model. I do want to try one. I want to try a 600 or even a 300. But now I just angled myself so I'm shooting, a little bit to the right. So I'm, trying to block out that shadow that's cast on that side. You can see it perfectly because of the angle of the video camera, obviously. But if I angle myself or pull her up just a little bit more, and I inched her up every time, like if she went closer to the back, I would just inch her up so that shadow would go away. And you can see that, because I'm using the ice lights in that last one, it's a little dimmer. It was probably 3200 ISO. And then the other part of this is I was shooting at f4 for most of these shots, and only at the end did I take it down to 2.8. And then I just took it back to 4 again. Because I just wanted to play with the lights, see what they could do. If these were brighter, this would be spectacular. And I do have that one tube light that's really, really bright, but the battery life on it is maybe 15 minutes if I'm lucky. And then I would have to shut off and turn on. Like I shut these off, when she was changing or when I was changing a backdrop, but otherwise they just stayed on through the whole shoot. And I didn't check the battery, what level it was at on any of these, but it lasted the whole shoot, so I was happy with it. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the shoot. If you have any questions, leave below. Just play, have fun. And if you like your high noise or your noise on your high ISOs on your camera, definitely use this. Because I know like some people absolutely love the noise on, a Canon or a Sony. It doesn't bother them, or they actually like the noise. And that's the way I am with the Hasselblad. I actually like the noise on it. It just looks good to me at 1600 and 3200. I didn't go over 3200, but at 16 and 32, I can definitely get away with it and really enjoy the images that it puts out. Anyway, thanks as always for watching. Sorry this was so long, but again, I really appreciate all your support.